SK Gaming versus G2. It's the second game of day one here at the ECS Season 3 Finals. And we'll already see G2, 4 men with Kevlar, Apex with a smoke and a flashbang, and a lot of traffic towards that middle area. Already a pick-off over there for Fallen. Always really nice on the CT side. You can get that really early pick-off. Try to diminish the numbers there. It's the T strength is in the numbers with those Glocks. Russian, go for the rush down. And it will be generally unsuccessful here. Just one taps all over the place, leaving Kenny in quite the predicament here alone.
1 versus 2 though, and he's got a USP as well, so opportunity knocks for Monsieur Kenny S, so he can live up to the standards that I set for Counter-Strike. He can't this time. No, Kenny, you have failed me, and you have failed your team and your country. SK will take the pistol for Antaco surviving. They both have perfect armor as well, which means they get a helmet for $350, which is an extra boost, and may change what they buy in the coming round. SK in good spirits. Really nice group of lads, which I hope people saw at the CS Summit. Very entertaining when they were on the couch. There is Mr. Coldzera putting in work. So, a nice start for SK. We'll see if they can prevail versus the non-buy of G2. They have bought almost nothing.
Yep, and all the UMPs here for SK, and you would expect them to try to, well, to be able to survive with at least 4 players by the end of this round. Of course, it is a P250 save from G2, and those P250s, if they find the right ranges, can be very annoying, and they can be good for the one-shots. So we'll see if that is to be the case here for G2. That's essentially what they're looking for here. It's not really realistic to expect a plant, but you can definitely get some kills in a round like this. So just applying pressure to the economy is really what they want to do, just to make their lives a bit easier as they go into the following buy round, or buy rounds. And one thing with the UMP is that it is not, I mean, we saw that change which did reduce the damage at ranges. So it's not going to be quite as good as it used to be as some of the ranges Fallen was playing with. But again, there's just no Kevlar, there's no helmets here for G2, so it's going to be absolutely fine here. And it looks like G2 will not be able to get a single kill, which will make SK very happy. But they are going to be up against AKs, and they are wielding 4 UMPs. I would be surprised, were they to really go for any upgrades in this situation, as the UMPs do still play quite well at the close to mid ranges. So I wonder what kind of strategy, what kind of setups they want to go for on the CT side here, just to try to make use of those UMPs to try to mitigate that disadvantage that they have against the AK-47s. And of course, it's the dream scenario should you win a round like this as a CTs, where you have just mere UMPs, because not only do you get the extra kill bonus from those UMP frags, you also get a situation where you can just have an insane economy straight away.
SK going for a cheeky boost. Shox has made his way towards Squeaky Door. Body will keep an eye on him a bit later on. See what he does if he picks up an AWP. And Nico's playing passive. Nico, excuse me, NBK, is playing outside the B bomb site. He'll be lurking, deploying the initial grenades, but it seems Cold will take a more aggressive position. And with the setup they have, Phelps and Cold at the moment, Phelps may bait for his teammate to pop out, holding some flashes as well. In the meantime, Fallen spotting towards mid, but again, does not want to take those fights with the UMP. So based on what they have, SK are picking carefully. Apex, does he spot Taco up high? He does, but Taco's there with the M4.
Yeah, Shock's popping out there with the, well, hoping to get some pressure out the door, but quick Molotov as they hear the door opening. Makes quite a racket. Decent WD-40, but we'll see G2 now trying to extend back into the checkers area instead. This is where they found some sort of an opening, but it's not gone too well for them. This is an incredible round so far for SK. Once again, I remind you that these UMPs, should they survive into the next round, they've already gained a lot of money and now are picking up AKs as well. This is a big problem. Shox has to get kills here. Only picks up the single one. That's going to be a very poor start here for G2. SK, they are going to be able to do all sorts of madness should they choose to do so. They have all the options. They can play very passively, very aggressively. They can really do anything they want. They're going to have economic superiority for quite some time. And this is a scary situation if you're G2 to be up against, especially again on one of SK's stronger maps.
Yeah, again, just worth noting the fights that SK choose to take there. Fallen just spotting in mid with the UMP obviously is very unfavorable for him to try and take that fight. So we'll spot them back off as necessary. Taco's there with the M4, so he can take that fight with the range from the high ground. 3-0 in favor of SK Gaming, off to a good start on their CT side. Two-man push into main from the CTs. Fallen and Fur first going to have the forward position. In the meantime, we have the full butcher by 5 Deagles. G2 looking for meat shots, and there's the first one. Phelps getting opened up. Fur's been spotted as well, so we'll see how much he wants to pursue this situation. Can try and delay things with a Molotov and maybe a flat, smoke behind it. Minute 10, and that would be a pain for the T side. Apex in the middle area, NBK fishing towards B.
Yeah, and Deagles are really strong these days. Players are very, very good at using them. The fast peaks can just mean an instant kill on a CT player who's like fully stacked on everything. So you've got to be really, really careful how you approach these rounds. And again, you can see more damage being done here by Kenny. He could do even yet more still, as we have NBK coming in from, NBK indeed coming in from B storage, able to get the kill onto Cold0, who was caught off guard there. And it's a 1 versus 2 all of a sudden. They bought nothing but Deagles. You really have to respect that. And now SK-ECS will get a plant and a 1 versus 2 situation. But there's grenades, there's armor here for these SK players. They should be able to pull this one out the bag, but it's SK-ECS with another kill here. And all of a sudden, problems. It's just Fur left. SK-ECS seems to have a good read onto the situation. Will Fur make the right call here to be able to defeat SK-ECS in this situation? It's close, but Fur is going to be able to secure it, but surely that's too much damage. And I suppose you could say that it's exactly the kind of round G2 needed to just basically punish G2 as much as possible to level the economies, because SK was starting to run away with it.
That is colossal damage from the French side. The bomb plant makes the Deagles pay for themselves, and that is, I don't know, like 18,000, maybe even more than that, $22,000 worth of damage to the C2 economy. That's humongous going forward. Let's see if it pays off for the French, or if SK can right the ship and put the treasure back in. 2 AWPs on the SK Gaming side, so they're all in for this one. And you see Kenny, he's going for the pot shots. They know it still works, and they're looking for it. Again, Shox seems that we'll commonly see him making his way towards the squeaky door. And that can be a problem if you're playing towards the forklift position. You've got to be very careful in your positioning. Suddenly, your area of play becomes much narrower. You saw moving backwards to a position where he would be exposed if Shox was to open a door. So we'll see how that plays out later on. He will reposition while G2 take their initial map control.
So a slow round so far from G2, but you would expect around the 1 minute mark is the sort of the standard timing on Cash to begin taking some element of map control, usually middle, but instead G2 are opting to just go hard into the A site here. They've pulled over everybody, and there's no messing around with mid control, no pressure in that sense. And there's only one player immediately on the bomb, so that's Taco in the boost position. We'll see whether he can get some frags from this. There's the first one, not messing around, not letting players pass, just going for every single kill. And that's exactly what Taco's going to get. That's 4 in a row for him. Where is the response from G2? Shox, he's trapped behind the door, able to get some spam right through that door for a frag, but it's going to be meaningless ultimately as Phelps comes in for the final kill. What a defense from Taco. He made that look so easy.
Yeah, and that was a very full smoke execute from G2. They even had the smoke over the red container between the box and the wall, but he decided to just run straight through it. You just see him running past the right-hand side of Taco's position to provide support. He knows what's going on and position himself well, but again, was not required. Taco did everything himself, but after a spectacular round such as that, you do wonder how viable that position will be in future rounds. I mean, it's a strong position either way, but I'm sure G2 will be looking for it. And that said, the damage done in G2 in the round prior now won't mean as much because Taco just wiped them out there, the street sweeper.
Yeah, perfect recovery.
Yeah, so it is G2. They are at maximum loss bonus. There's going to be a quick restart of the round because someone SK-ECS accidentally pressed auto buy and bought a Galil. Oh, no, it's not going to. Okay. They're good. They said, no, it's fine. Let's continue. So the French will rock in this situation. I don't have much to play with for this round, and Cold0 is abusing the range. 2 kills for him, bomb spotted as well, and they know that the T's have to move forward to try and collect it. Phelps on a high ground will drop the bomb once again, leaving Body and Shox wondering what has happened to this round.
Yeah, just can't quite take the trades at the moment, G2. First we saw Taco annihilating the team, and then Cole just very happily, peak after peak, frag after frag. G2 now 2 versus 4. And they need to show us some crazy individual display to try to win something back into this round, to salvage something. Because SK are having a very dominant showing so far, and already SK Gaming know where at least one of the 2 players is. They know where the bomb is as well, so they have most of the pieces of the puzzle. And the fact of the matter is, they don't really have to pressure too heavily. If they're going to peak, they can do some in numbers as they did. And Taco just coming in, rotating in from that A-bomb site, taking down 2 players. Taco's off to a great start so far. That's a scary proposition for you.
VODs and Apex are both 006. Are we going to see the 007s? Get your tuxedos out, boys and girls.
Double 07, let's go.
Double 07. Damn. Well, this is the non-round as well. This is the buy between the buys, as I like to call it. They chose to force in the previous round. I do wonder actually with G2 because, I mean, Kenny, he accidentally pressed auto buy in the previous round, but also I would have expected them to eco because they'll get a full buy on this round anyway. So I don't know if they chose to force because he pressed that and they're like, screw it, let's just do it, or what the situation was there. Either way, they've managed to get themselves a kill. So that's something. Fallen's got to be careful because Apex is closing the distance and he might be being baited with these shoulder peaks, but he's ready for it, of course. T's moving towards the vent position, but there's still 4 CTs alive here, 2 of which have M4s, and you know, there is a chance for this to get awkward, especially because Cole is on B on his own with the AWP. Fallen picked off as well, so there's opportunity now for G2 to do something.
Yeah, crazy shot from Kenny, but Cole is on the bomb side. He's quite a titan, but he will be felled by Shocks. Great shot with the Deagle. The Eagles have been the friend of G2 so far in this half, despite not claiming a round yet, but this could be the first one. Shocks onto the AWP, and Kenny sitting happily in checkers with an AK-47, able to see both the bomb and also the B storage area. He can see a lot there in this position. He's going to spot Taco, get some good damage in, but it's not really going to matter too much. Shocks is on the AWP. And now in a 1 versus 2 as well. And this position is very difficult. It's good for a 1 frag, but then how do you fall back? You can't really. So Shocks has a lot to answer for in this spot as he looks for the first frag. He's being teased at the moment. And that peeking from Phelps is absolutely picture perfect as another round goes to SK.
So VODs made it to 007. Apex got an assist, so he's 017. He manages to escape the dinner party. He will settle for cocktail sausages elsewhere. Double ups continue for SK around the 3 M4s, and the plant's a bonus, but again, at maximum loss bonus. In general, G2 will have no issue with a full buy this round. Ferb with a very forward spawn. Where will he take it? Ferb, one of the, I want to say one of the most enjoyable players from SK to watch, but who isn't enjoyable to watch on SK? But I mean, he's a personal favourite of mine because of how aggressive he is and how willing he is to play with also shotguns or MP9s or whatever he wants.
He finds a way to make anything work, that is for sure. G2 with a slow passive start into this one. Fallen changing his positioning somewhat, taking an angle by the sandbags there as he can get a great peek onto Apex. I'm surprised he didn't connect that one. Also great awareness of Apex there, getting good damage onto Fallen, but Fur is there as Fallen was taking all the attention. They really wanted to finish him off here on a mere 4 HP at this point, but he may actually escape this position. You can see Body still looking for it, and it takes him a while, but he will get the frag there. 3 versus 3 as the chaos continues on middle, and another trade comes in, or rather just a straight up frag from Fur there to pull things into favor for SK. And Taco on this A-bomb site, ever the problem, having a fantastic day so far in the 8 rounds we've seen. It's just MBK left to save it. What is he going to be able to do here? Finds Taco, but Taco still just instantly turns around and drops him, no problem at all.
8-0. You wonder how far SK will go in this half. Apex 0 kills, Body 2 kills, NBK 3, Shocks 4. KennyS out there with 7 kills. Almost a kill every round for him, but no rounds
One thing we haven't seen too much of from G2 on these mid-round, or is these mid-rounds. We haven't really seen big map control takes. They just tend to try to charge into the A site without mid control, or into the B bomb site with not like really forcing mid to be taken away from the CTs. Usually, if they split into B, the CTs are still in mid. We still would see Fallen in position or players coming in around white box with pressure. So far G2, the big question mark for me is that middle position. They need to be able to take this away from SK and then see how things go. But it's not looking easy for them.
The off angle held by Fallen, going for the peak again, but Kenny is there to trade. In the meantime, Shox has been picked off around the A main area. We've commonly seen him around Squeaky. Phelps trying to catch players while they're throwing grenades. Tried to use the timing there to pick off NBK before he could fire a shot. Opportunist peek, but doesn't go back for the repeak. Not going to the ball too many times. Taco, though, will go for the repeak, and Body's ready for it. Another kill for him, an important kill. Phelps picking off NBK in the meantime, and he's pushing through B. There's no one in position for SK towards the A site, but Furs very quickly into main.
Yeah, 3 versus 2 for SK. They are very fast on the rotation because of proactive play when they were down a man. And a Body will try to find his way over the smoke. A pretty classic position here. Sometimes quite difficult to deal with, and he's going to try to buy time with the Molotov. Doesn't realize there's a player right next to him. He goes for the reload, and there appears a Fur. KennyS with a tag onto Fur, down to 33 health, but now KennyS has to worry about 2 positions at once. He starts to burn, forced into a more forward angle. Goes for the peak, but Fur catches him with the grenade, and that's the 8-0. Or rather, sorry, the 9-0 coming in now for the SK Gaming side. Another great round from them, and I mean, G2 were able to get that frag in mid eventually, and they started to work off of it, but I still feel like they need to play with mid more, and I think that is the key for them here. We'll see if they can keep at it with these buy rounds.
Well, the pause is here. You see Smiths behind the G2 team, enjoying the more relaxed position, so to speak. Doesn't have the stress of being in the game. We'll see if he can get his team back into this. 9-0 for SK, sending quite a statement at the moment. It's a technical pause at present. So I think Shox was off the server briefly, but he's back in.
One thing that's
interesting
good to go is, I mean, so one of the reasons why you go for that mid control is you can sort of impact the rotation a bit. The CTs you can force them to take action, because once they lose that bit of information, they've got to make a play back into some information. Do they do it? Where do they do it across the map? And that's where you can set up traps as the Ts to try to pick up an additional frag, or you can try to just control the pace of the round a bit. But it really feels like SK are controlling the pace of the round at all times, and I don't think that should be the case as much. We've got situations where, for the first time, they have a spot where, okay, we've lost mid, and they're like, oh, okay, we need to get information, so they're proactive towards B storage. And I think it was Fur winning the 1 versus 1 against NBK, and then all of a sudden they have a massive advantage, even though G2 have managed to take a bomb site and they have a bomb down. So it's just SK right now, they're just playing some default cash, and it's working out very well. At 9-0 so far. So G2 with a slow start. I'm very curious what the interpretation of this first half will be from the analyst desk later on, as G2 are struggling so much.
It's time to get... Oh, well, it was time to get back into the game, but there is another brief pause. So hopefully it'll be undone soon. You'll maybe soon see the new trophy for this season on the stage. There you can see it. We changed the stem. The stem was metallic last time, but we've gone for a flame stem. Let us know what you think on the tweeters. And also tweet KennyS and say that James Bardoff is indeed the best player in the world, as SK were alluding to. It's definitely correct. 9-0, the unpause is here, and we've got G2. The buy is coming out. Body dropping the AWP for Kenny, and they're going to be good to go. But this is I said that I favoured G2 for this map. I don't think they're going to be 0-9 versus SK every time they play this. So I'm not too deterred at the moment, but obviously they need to get pretty much 6 rounds at this point. Let's see if they're able to do it. It's been quite a pause, so maybe it will break the momentum of the SK side. That flashbang will do the job and force coldzera away from the B bomb site, and Shox has made his way into highway with 1:35. How does he get there so fast?
Yeah, this is so good. This is absolutely what they need to do. Now Fallen under a lot of pressure, able to hit that shot. Insane stuff from him, but great response from G2. All the players in position here, and coldzera now comes in. That's a nice flick. Gonna miss the second one. Pistol comes out. Very weak body, but not a body that can be taken down by Cold. He will die, leaving Phelps alone in this 1 versus 3 clutch situation, which, with the money that they have, he's absolutely going to go for it. There's a quick kill as well. Only more reason to convince him to try to make something happen here in this situation. And with body being so weak, G2 have to be very cautious in this round how they play it. You can see they're very quick to be able to help each other. They want Phelps to tap the bomb first. That gives them an idea exactly where he's going to be standing, and that's the first piece to this a successful defense here on this after plant situation for the G2 side. As Phelps begins to creep up, and he's going to throw the smoke down to pressure the bomb, able to actually root out MBK from his position, but he won't win the 1 versus 1. And should he have done so, it may have been possible, but there you go. First round for G2. They'll be relieved that they're on the scoreboard finally, but it's still quite the climb for them.
Apex has made it. He's got 1 kill on the board. It's never too late to start fragging. So let's see if G2 can get some more rounds on the board. If they were to win this round, then SK's money would already be decimated, as that is quite the rebuy with 2 AWPs, as you can see there. Thank you, Observer Connor, Sliggy, either one, not both.
Sliggy, CSGO.
9-1, Fallen. In a position, you sometimes see Rikke take this position when a Molotov comes in, it will smoke it off, and they will allow him to have that angle. It works well for Fallen. He takes a lot of spray, though, as he repositions. There's a gap, he could abuse that, but see if it works out for him. coldzera around the smoke, Fallen, and Phelps have kills in the meantime. And Cole just running around the smoke, wondering what's going on, and all of... Hello.
Oh, it's us.
All of the T's are dead. So there we go. It is in fact G2 with that reset.
Yeah, it's just like the worst thing. What's the worst thing that can possibly happen? Well, it's this. It's getting absolutely wrecked in this round right after you've won 1. You don't even get a single kill. Fallen having a field day there, even though he sort of messed up the incendiary. He's got all of his teammates in for rotation. But you can see here that G2 are not really relying on a default style to their CS, where they're thinking about map control. They're more trying to just catch SK off guard in certain situations, just trying to hammer into one bomb site or the other without like pushing rotation first. And SK are just showing that they've played this game for a very long time against the best players in the world. They are so good at just holding it down when they have to.
That was a great shot from Taco, but Kenny's still alive. No, Kenny's dead. It was a great shot from Taco through the corner, and a really tough spot to have with an AWP as well, where you're worried about people on both sides of Fork, but because of the scope, you can't really look at both. Lovely shot from him through the corner of the APC, the contained APC. We had a massive argument about if it was an APC in that red container or a tank.
It definitely can't be a tank. I think I said APC, right?
Yeah. I was very wrong.
And I was correct.
I was as wrong as Kenny is about me not being the best player in the world. G2 on pistols. They had an opportunity to get back into this half, but it was absolutely lost once they had that economical reset. Are we going to see a 14-1 half? 12-1 looks very likely at the very least. P250s and Deagles with a cameo appearance from a Glock on NBK.
I love this run boosts. I mean, usually it's to dodge the AWPer, but you actually have Cold here, so they're just going to get absolutely annihilated. He's got an M4, pretty happily able to take all those kills. And
good ranges are good.
With a double AWP, you would expect one of the AWPers to be there, quite commonly so. So it's, again, it just shows that SK are going to always, they're never going to show you something that's, it's going to be hard to predict them, essentially. That's the point with the double AWPs. And it was talked about previously at the start of the day. We had Machine leading the conversation about double AWPs in the top. Is it necessary to be have a team with double AWPs to be a top 8 team in Counter-Strike? It was an interesting discussion, and you can see that SK, they've got many AWPs to go to. Taco being one of the players to pick it up more recently as well. Cold and Fallen, they are the scariest of AWP duos you could ever hope to be up against.
Taco's on a squeaky bush. with the AWP at the moment. We've got many smokes in the middle area. We'll spot one player around the vents, and it's all yellow in the death column at present, though NBK will change that, making it a 3-on-3, and Phelps will be the last man in B for the time being. Fur and Taco on a 2 versus 3 retake. Shocks of all of 2 HP. Just got to watch out for that Molotov. Taco on the high grounds. Ooh, he knows his angles. I don't know if he had seen any of SK-ECS there. Taking some pot shots, trying to find some info. And in the meantime, Fur is coming in from the vents. Always awkward to come in for the retake from that position, but Shox is not trained on it, and that's going to leave Kenny on his own. Moving into CT, he's got an angle. Taco taken by surprise, and Fur, surely he can't do this. He's got 15 HP and an M4 versus the AK of Kenny. Dropping some flashbangs, but that's allowing Fur to reposition. Now he's on the site. Has he made a mistake? The bomb's not planted for him either. Or maybe it is. In fact, there's a small gap, and Kenny manages to do it. The flashbang was coming out from Fur, but it might have been too much to ask. A second round on the board for G2.
Yeah, desperate second round. All that is possible is 3. That's kind of a scary situation when you're against the likes of SK. And G2, they've, I mean, sometimes they find, you know, fortune with these very fast rounds. Like here, again, another very fast round, which was not reliant on map control. It's just going for a rush, a quick B split. They hit their entry frags this time, but now we see the triple orb here from SK. Again, it's the last round, so typically you would only see this if they could pick one up during the round, but here it's like that one round kind of shock factor. Will it pay off for them as the fast rush comes into mid? We get great trade killing coming in here from G2 to give them a 2-man advantage in this 4 versus 2.
Cold around the car. That's a lovely shot to NBK, and he spots the play in the highway as well. 2-on-2 retake. All information is known. They know there was one mid and one car. Bomb planted on A. Now it's Kenny left, and Apex is going forward. Rotation towards main. I'm not sure if he might have been heard from Phelps' position on highway. Anyway, the clock is ticking. Both these players have kits. Apex picked off, leaving Kenny alone. Cold coming in from the car. That clock is pretty far gone. They need to get their skates on here. Don't seem to know where he is, and that's Cold Zero straight into the crosshairs. Kenny going for the quick scope. I don't think Phelps can do it now. Kenny will finish things off there for the third round. 12-3 half. A landslide for SK.
Yeah, no, I just, again, it's just the approach of G2. I'm very curious, you know, why they chose this approach for SK when they're playing their T side. It didn't really seem to be working out too well for them. SK was sitting on the bomb sites. They're allowing G2 to come to them, just hitting their shots. And we never really saw G2 pressuring SK in a way in which they were able to take some map control, get a pick here, pressure the rotation, try to play off that CT rotation, force SK to try to make a play to get that information back, and then try to capitalize on that. So, you know, some more normal stuff for Cash. So just a different style from G2, and we'll see whether or not their CT side can be better. And they'll start things off with a 4-man push towards B storage.
Cold, it must be thinking, what on earth is going on? And at this point, it might be fight or flight, but they've chosen to fight SK. Even the bomb carrier is in tow as this mad push comes in from G2, going for huge gambles of such a landslide scoreline. And with some team damage, Fur will pick off NBK. In the meantime, it's all G2 at this point. Shock's getting picked off, but the traders there will kill elsewhere. Phelps now last man, but he won't last very long. And it's interesting, I think there are 2 schools of thought when you see like 3+ players charging that situation. Do you stand and fight? I mean, mostly it's going to be like on an anti-eco round when you see charges like that from the B bomb site, but I suppose one is to stand and fight them where they are, or to just make a break for it towards the other bomb site and try and get the bomb down. But
I mean, anything that guarantees a bomb plant is the choice that I like. I like that extra money, James.
There's more money if you win the round, though.
Yeah, but is it guaranteed to win the duels versus an empty bomb site where you can plant?
Nothing in life is guaranteed. Nothing. But I mean, there weren't 5 people on the B push. That's also a problem, because on a pistol round, you can easily just get, someone could just land 3 headshots if you've got a nice angle. Anti-eco time, or anti-force fire time for the G2 team. The comeback trail is a long one. It's dry, it's arid. There's not much water. 3 players picked off in that round. Let's see if they can do it. 7-round deficit. They look good to make it 6.
Yeah, just
But
a
at that point, they'll have half the score.
small relief now. Just Glocks, players with no Kevlar, and they'll get to make some money. Life can be good for a moment. And the problem is, though, is that SK on the T side, they're always going to be scary. I mean, as mentioned on the desk previously, Fallen's a great leader, but during the game, SK, all their players pitch in to the kind of strategies they want to call, like what research have they done against G2. They're going to know that G2, of course, are one of the more problematic teams to deal with. If you want to win a tournament like this, it's a team that you've got to study. It's a team that you have to know how to play against. And so we could expect some very interesting round choices against them as we move into that territory. A quick steal of an MP7, although Apex will fall, his team will win with 4 men strong, so that's going to be great for their economy, and an AWP will be purchased immediately by Mr. SK-ECS. Looking forward to seeing where he goes with that, because he might be all over the map.
Yeah, if they are afforded the opportunity. Let's see what SK have in store for them. Again, they've been strong so far on cash. They've had a lot of momentum, and now they have the T side with which to try and dictate the pace for the remainder of this game. 4 players headed towards A for the T side, with coldzera lurking towards B. You see G2 very active in the middle position. Body underneath the boost. He might hear some footsteps towards A. Got NBK positioning for a crossfire. Now SK, they've taken their initial map control, making sure there's no A main push. They've got Squeaky and they've got coldzera outside B, so there's no shenanigans just yet from the CT side. Now let's see how they choose to proceed. Phelps in position to smoke off the connector area if they want to later on. And Taco's, he could throw the Molotov into the vents from where he's standing. That's commonly what you would find. 2 men looking at NBK from the boost position. The Body trying to play these awkward angles, not working out for him though. Finally, there's a kill for G2, but doesn't last very long.
Oh, nice catch there by Kenny, though. All the trading in middle causing quite the chaos now, and they don't know exactly where the bomb's going to go. Shox goes back in towards B, spotting Cold, but at these ranges, the UMP is not going to fare too well against the AKs. However, it's enough to deter the push into that B-bomb site, especially now that we get another kill from Taco. And now Taco is going to get as much information as he can before falling back, using their utility. Shox forced to run through, though, if he wants to have a chance. It's a great play from Shox, but he's got to get these kills here. Great grenade there, taking down Taco. And now he's going to be able to steal away an AK, but in doing so, perhaps you could call it a bit greedy, bit of an overstep or overextension, as that does allow him, or rather allow his opposition to get a kill when perhaps it should have been a bit more difficult. 13-6 now for SK.
Yeah, it could have been a few things at play. Maybe thought they were going for a B or something. But either way, it doesn't work out for G2. And not much has in this match so far. 13-6. Double ops now from G2. Shox and Kenny going to be wielding the big green guns. Double UMP as well as AWP for the CT side. They start with the 1-3-1 setup. Kenny towards A, Shox towards B. And last round we saw an initial presence of 4 people towards the A site from SK. And that has reversed into B as well. Initial map control taken, and they will slowly send the numbers for some harassment towards mid. 1-3-1 remains for the CT side at the moment. Apex is going to be the rotation man towards A, should he be required. Just note how coldzera is not peeking the whole time. He's not just holding his angles, and that's something that you'll commonly see in professional Counter-Strike, is that people won't just peek 100% of the time. They will emerge every so often, try and catch people off guard, try and take them by surprise. Definitely something to employ in your games at home. 1 minute on the clock as SK start to use their grenades.
Very quiet at the moment. Less than a minute left, and we start to see SK make the move. Far over the boost position. NBK playing around the smoke, common position, and Fer will expect it, and he will land a fast frag. Now it puts it to a very fast exchange as middle is up for grabs for both teams. Looks like SK will find a way in, though, after a flurry of kills. 2 AWPs here, Shox and Kenny left to defend. The flick shot, not enough time for it to come in. Fallen too quick there with the Galil, no less. Able to find a fast headshot, leaving things down to the man SK-ECS, but there's just a slight window where he was unable to stop and scope up, and he will get taken down as well. So many spots where G2 are getting sort of out-timed, just caught off guard, and that's a 14-6 for SK, a mere 2 rounds away now from crushing G2 on cash.
With 1 minute on the clock, G2's utility comprised 1 flashbang. onto KNES. And I think that tells the story of the struggle that they have had in this match so far. 14-6 in favor of SK. We have the force buy from the CT side. Body with the one rifle, the Galil, the French gun no less. The rest of them down to pistols with smokes here and there, and the flashbangs are quite rare at this point. So again, you'd feel like G2 have to show some aggression somewhere, but again, that will be expected from SK, and we've seen their slow approach in these T rounds, exhausting the utility and maybe the patience of G2 as NBK's taken down towards Highway. 1 minute 13 on the clock. We've still got Cold lurking towards B. 2-0-2 for the CTs at the moment.
Yeah, awkward spot for G2 to say the least. A quick play with the 5-7 will find a frag though for Apex as he steals away an AK-47. A nice prize for him, and it may very well aid the defense. He might look to palm it off to a teammate who's a bit healthier. We'll have to see. Looking to flash in Mr. KNES as he finds himself a skull, but he can't find himself a connection with that CZ, as now the push is going to initiate onto that A-bomb site, and KNES is looking for that premium engagement, that good timing as these players start to rush in for these close ranges. Catching Apex on the off angle there is falling with the orb, as now it comes down to KNES. That's a good chunk of damage, but can't find the kills, and that really is what it all comes down to in this spot now, as Shox makes his way in. Too many angles to be concerned with as he is pushed into two angles. Cold is going to finish off everybody as it goes to 15-6 now, and SK a mere round away from this victory, and it's looked very flat so far for G2 in this series, or rather, sorry, this map, this best of one.
The struggle is real. The struggle is real. WMPs in what could be the last round for G2 on Cash versus SK Gaming. CZ 5-7 Deagle, and a lot of grenades for G2. They've got a reasonable amount of flashbangs for this round. CT's moving towards the A site with 3 players, and we've got Body and Shox deep towards B. Body playing behind the box, again hoping for something, and they've got great timing there. The grenades are out for the T side, and that will yield them 2 kills. Perhaps later they can go back and get some gun upgrades as well.
A small sliver of hope perhaps for G2 with a nice aggression indeed, and an AK stolen away. Body will certainly be happy with that. Further creeping up might find a great timing, and indeed he will. Just not looking at middle, but MBK somehow finding himself a very fast Deagle shot to trade it immediately. That's what you want as Taco now in a 1 versus 4. He does have the bomb too, so can't count him out just yet. He's been doing crazy stuff, at least on the first half on the defensive side, but here now he's given up his position. He's given up a lot of health, and now it looks like he'll give up on the round as well, as he will just take the orb and try to go for the save. However, G2 with, of course, you know, next round is a loss. They may think about trying to take this orb down, try to steal it back and away. We'll have to see what the decision-making will be here. SK don't have the best money ever, so it could be a play that would yield a nice result, denying SK some orbs in the future. Looks like G2, though, there will be the gentleman's agreement, and no one is going to go for the frag. Rather, Taco will be defensive, and Body, MBK, and Kenny will just hold on to what they have, and we will just see a slow end to round number 22.
Yeah, for the most part, the money is in the hundreds per person for G2, so they cannot afford weakened defenses in the future rounds. Again, they need every single round. They now need every single piece of equipment with which to do that. Heads definitely still in the game at the moment. Won't be the first time they've played against match point. 7 rounds on the board for G2. SK spreading the money around. Let's see, we've got Fallen with the AWP for only the Tech 9. And they've got their grenades as well, so we'll see what they can do with it. I'm sure they've got a plan. 2 players going towards Squeaky Door now, and they may have a nasty surprise. Fallen missing his shot. He's got support, but he goes back for the repick. That is well cheeky.
He loves it, doesn't he? He's very aggressive when the time is right. Fallen managing to make good of that situation. 5 versus 4 then. So this puts the pressure on the G2. You know, typically you would expect the CT side, especially considering that there's so much time left in the round, to try to even things up on the numbers at the very least. Get some extra map control. Right now there's so many questions as to what could be happening. Middle is, there's no vision on middle just yet. The closest player is Apex. He might take a quick peek in, but it could be dangerous. So at the moment, he's not really holding an angle to really see all that much in middle. It is, I think, left instead to SK-ECS to just look down from highway. So generally, G2, they don't have any idea what is happening for SK. They may just decide to either go for a gamble with no information, which it looks like is what they are doing, going towards B. They seem to think that it's going to be B, leaving just SK-ECS to check from car towards A. This is a problem for G2, that they have to gamble in this way.
39 seconds. 3 players towards A. The split is coming in as well. Once the smoke goes down towards car, the retake will be very interesting, especially with Cold Zero lurking late towards the middle area. What a shot from Fallen, but now it's pretty hard for G2 to retake with a split because mid is in control, well and truly in control of the T players. You know, Phelps is in there as well as his teammate, and that is pretty much a wipeout in the last round of Cash. 16-7, G2 get absolutely smashed by the Brazilians.
And I do like, in some respect, like how they chose to make the gamble, because they're saying the easiest site to retake is A. If we lose B, we just lose the game.